Hi, everybody. This is John Diamore, and I'm here to introduce our segment for A Slice of Life with Kelly and John. We're going to do another segment of one of our books. Tonight will be, or today, will be Kelly's book, Tales of the Lioness. Take it away, Kelly.
Okay. So here's the book. You can get two different versions. The other version has a real lion on it, real lioness. I am going to read an excerpt from one of the stories. There are 19 stories in the book, and they're all short stories, and they're pretty, a lot of them are pretty traumatic. They're written by women who have overcome great tragedies and obstacles in life. So this first one is called The Rule Book for Grief by Char Atkins, and it is about grief, getting over grief and great loss. So let's go. There's a lot to be said about an attentive father, a man who adores his little girl. The father-daughter relationship is unique in a way that has no comparison. If she's lucky enough to have a doting father, a girl will feel like the brightest light in the universe. The problem with that is burning out when the sun no longer shines. From the moment you lose a loved one, the rest of the world halts to slow motion. Everything is blurred, abstract. There's no meaning. There's only slightly conscious, you're only slightly conscious of what is actually happening around you. Like a dream, you're in a complete daze, going through the motions without emotion. When my father passed, life as I knew it no longer existed. How was I supposed to live in a world without him? When I received the phone call, and throughout the days that followed, I felt a complete loss of identity. I could only define myself as the daughter who lost her dad. I was alone, afraid, broken. My heart was numb. I was a fraction of myself. It was difficult to accept that the person who gave me life was no longer full of life himself. I too felt lifeless. At the age of 84, losing dad wasn't so much a surprise as a shock. He may have been ready, but I surely was not. The finality of his death knocked the wind out of me. Even now, as my memory scrolls back to that day, I relive that moment of anguish, as if it's the first time hearing the news. He was gone, my hero, my best friend. An amazing man, my father was full of fervor and fire. He lived every moment with a desire you could see sparkling in his hazel eyes, even as he grew ill in his last days. Then suddenly my world was left with a gray haze clouding my existence. It would take years to overcome. The loss of my father consumed me. On the outside, I stayed strong. I acknowledged his death, knowing all along that this day would come. But on the inside, I was emotionally weak and distraught. Though I carried on through the days and months after his death, with weighted feet and a heavy heart, I reluctantly began my existence in a world without him. I attempted to create a new life, a life built on grief. Thinking that I was filling the empty void with something solid, I was really drowning in darkness. The life I was trying to live without my father was more of a hell than I had ever anticipated. Struggling to continue on, I decided to distance myself from the lonely world I grudgingly endured. So I packed my troubles and memories into boxes and moved across the country to seek a new beginning. I thought that a different location would bring me a new outlook on life. That's how I found myself on the sandy beaches of Miami. The colors, the constant motion, the newness of everything breathed a sense of being into my soul. That was where my new life would begin. And so the story goes on, about her struggles. It wasn't easy to overcome this grief. I think most of us have felt deep grief at this point of our life. I know I lost my father too, so I choked up a little bit reading this. Because mine was a surprise. It was just I got a phone call one day. I was
Hmm.
30 years old and my dad's gone. So anyway, I hope maybe reading that story will help someone who is grieving to understand there's always a light later. You get to, when you go through the grieving process, you think your life's never going to be the same and you're not going to laugh ever again. And then one day you start remembering them with a smile on your face instead of tears in your eyes. And that, it's just a gradual process. So anyway, that's why I wanted to share that
Well,
story.
I lost my dad. He was only 69. Actually, it was the anniversary was just 2 days ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you always think of that. I know the exact situation and where I was, and you always know that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's
okay.
hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So anyway, Tales of the Lioness, if anybody wants to get the book and read some more stories, it's on Amazon. And I'll leave the link in the description. And
There
that's
you
it.
go.
So,
Thank
okay.
you, folks. Have a great
Bye.
time. Bye.
Bye. All views expressed in this video belong to Kellie Nicholson, John D'Amore, and guests. These discussions do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever with which they have been affiliated now or will be in the future. The opinions expressed are solely theirs, and since they are critically thinking human beings, these views are subject to change, subject to revision, and subject to rethinking at any time. These conversations are not meant to be taken as advice and are only for the purpose of entertainment. All statements may be based on hearsay and not necessarily valid proof of any claims in this video. It is not our intention to teach or advise on any topic. Unless otherwise noted, all photos are public domain. Thanks for watching A Slice of Life with Kellie and John.